So 37,532, and I am very happy about that. We update our progress, and we are continuing our streak. Now I want to take a look at a couple different authors and see how they're doing. I may not do the whole group of buddies that I normally go through, but I want to look at a couple in particular. So first, let me look at Chuck Buda. All right, Chuck Buda is still moving right along. So he is at 12,658. He's had to write in bursts because with work and everything else he's got going on, he's having to write when he has time. Now, what I'm very proud of him about is that he hasn't given up, because NaNoWriMo just isn't really in his wheelhouse. It's not the way he normally writes. He does it because he wants to participate with the other people who follow along with the Mondo Method podcast with him and Armand Rosamilia. So he plays along to be a good sport. Corral of Blood is a story he was going to be writing anyway, and he's already said he expects to go into December in order to finish this. So that's perfectly fine. One thing I wanted to look at is I don't think I've done a good enough job of selling how much I really like that series. So the Son of Earp series is a 4-book series right now. Corral of Blood will be the 5th book. The first book is Curse of the Ancients. When I read this book, I was certain that this was one of the greatest westerns I had ever read. Not just supernatural westerns, but one of the best western stories. Now, a lot of horror authors have gotten into writing westerns now. Deadhead Press does the splatter westerns that mix sort of extreme horror and other types of horror and supernatural with the western genre. This came out well before that stuff, and I was really hooked on it. The Hunted Gunslinger is good too. Summoner of Souls is excellent. When I read that 3rd book, I knew he was on fire. So probably the 1st and the 3rd are my favorites, but again, the more I think about it, I love the Haunted Gunslinger too, and then Desert Fangs really took it to another level. Getting to, I guess you can look at that cover and kind of figure out, what kind of supernatural trouble they're running into based on that title. But I'm looking forward to Corral of Blood, and I know other people who've read these stories really are excited about those too. Now, want to take a look at Armand Rosamilia's page, kind of see where he is. All right, let me get back. I always end up in a rabbit hole over here and then can't find my way around. All right, so looking at Armand Rosamilia too. All right, he is writing The Devil's School. We're at 37,331, so he's doing very well. He and I are basically at the same spot, just about 200 apart. We're kind of following the same pace, trying to be done on the 20th. He said he may end up stretching to the 21st, but we'll see. So doing a great job on his. Wanted to look also at some of his work. He and Chuck Buda said some very nice things about me on their Midway live broadcast. So they had the two of them, Armand and Chuck, and then a few other authors too, and they were just kind of talking about writing and NaNoWriMo and that sort of thing in general, and just said some very complimentary things about me. Some of it was about these broadcasts being encouraging, but then it was also about writing and things like that. And I have a lot of respect for these authors. So someone whose writing you really enjoy, speaking highly of you really means a lot. So I wanted to return the favor. Of course, we just mentioned the Son of Earp series by Chuck Buda, which is one of the greatest Western, and especially Western supernatural series I've ever read. One of the things they were talking about are the collaborations I've done with Armand Rosamilia. We've written a ghost story together. We've written a few other things together, and we really do enjoy working together. And he had mentioned that he when he writes with me, he tries to up his game to match me. Now, what he doesn't give himself credit for is that as he's doing that, he'll send a chapter back to me, and it'll be one of the greatest things I've ever read. And I'm like, wow, I need to really bring my A game to this. So I'll try to up what I'm doing. He ups it to match me, and I think we end up writing some pretty amazing books together that we could not have written as well apart. Now, he and I had done some projects where he and I, a couple other authors, did sort of a weird horror thing. It was kind of a fun thing, not terribly serious. But we were talking about possibly working together, and the moment I knew that I wanted to work with Armand Rosamilia was when I read Chelsea Avenue. Um, I love all his work, and he often calls himself a pulp writer, which I think to him means that he just goes direct into the story. So, like his crime fiction and thrillers work pretty well because he doesn't put a lot of fluff into them. It's just very story, character based, and moving forward. When I read Chelsea Avenue, I saw a different level to his work. I saw that a level of sophistication that he was capable of with stories and characters and twists and things like that that just made this book something different. And again, I don't want to compliment this book in the sense of like saying it made his other work look bad because I was already a fan of what he did. But when he came out with this, I knew he was capable of a lot more and that he was beginning to achieve it, and I wanted to be a part of that. So we ended up writing The Enemy Held Near together after I read Chelsea Avenue and saw the level of sophisticated work he was capable of. One of our recent works is Yard Full of Bones, and we have sort of cosmic horror and a brings in sort of the crime fiction detective mystery kind of stuff too. So we didn't set out to do a blended genre thing. We kind of knew what the main story was going to be about, but then it evolved into something much better that I think really comports us pretty well. Right now, this book on ebook is only 99 cents, and it's going to be that way through Cyber Monday, I believe, which is right at the very end of November this year. But you can pick that up on the cheap, and then we'll trick you into buying more books from us and that sort of thing. But just wonderful job with that, working with him. And he and I have another book coming out with Madness Heart Press in 2021 called Room 138, which is a bit of a sci-fi novel with some mystery and some intrigue to it and some things like that. So I'm really proud about that one and looking forward to that one coming out as well. So that one should be coming out soon. But wanted to take a moment to talk about these guys and what a great job they are doing. We'll get back to everybody else in a future broadcast. So I'll run through everybody's NaNoWriMo pages and see how they're doing, but wanted to focus in particularly on Armand and Chuck this time around. They said some nice things about me, and I just wanted to let everybody know what they meant to me as well as friends, but also as just really talented authors. So wherever you are in your NaNoWriMo writing, or if you're just trying to reach goals that aren't even related to NaNoWriMo, just keep pushing at it. Chuck is a good example of, life gets in the way, and sometimes the 50,000 word mark is in a month is not in a person's wheelhouse, but you get done what you can, and if it takes you 2 months or 3 months and you do your best work, then that's good too. So just encouraging everybody who writes to continue writing and enjoy the process, even on days when you're pushing yourself, days when you don't quite feel like it, and then the more work you produce over time, the better that work will be. So thank you everybody for following along, and I look forward to talking to you again tomorrow.